grown man about to cry seeing the previous voice actor Kazuki put down his underwear live on stage, and as he puts it down, he walks away from the spotlight, the light fades as he says goodbye to One Piece. You have the new voice actor, Subaru, come in. He takes one look at the stage, notices the old voice actor's underwear on the stage, and what he does is something that he only knew he needed to do. He picks them up, he looks to everybody among the crowd like, I'm not in a cult, and as he says, yes, this is happening, he puts them on. I know everybody looking out from the outside and not really understanding the context here will say this is incredibly weird, and even knowing the context, it does look very weird. But it's emotional, because I think if there is one thing this in particular shows us, is that the level of commitment, not just Kazuki, but also the new voice actor, Subaru Kimura, is going to do for One Piece, is probably going to be fantastic. To be able to go live on stage and do something like this just shows that this really is passing down the torch to someone that probably will be able to carry the legacy of Franky onward. I made a video talking about this a few weeks back, saying that, you know, goodbye to Franky's VA, Kazuki, that's been voicing him for 20 plus years at this point. It's a long time, and there was one thing I didn't really talk about in that video, but does need to be talked about here. And that is the fact that, imagine the emotional journey of voicing a character, getting on the ship, the Straw Hat crew, and voicing this character that is a main character at that is a part of one of the most legendary and iconic series ever to grace this planet. And you have to walk away from that. You have to walk away from the spotlight, from such a massive role, a career-defining role at that, having to walk away because you realize you cannot give the love, the dedication that you want to give. That makes me want to cry just thinking about that, because it's like, imagine as a person coming to terms with you cannot voice the character you love anymore, that you have poured hundreds upon hundreds of hours into for 2 decades. I could not imagine. I could not begin to imagine the emotional journey and the conclusion of that. And so seeing this moment really makes a lot of sense why a lot of One Piece fans, especially Franky fans, got emotional seeing this. And then seeing the new voice actor coming down, carrying the energetic energy of Franky, looking at the underwear, picking it up, it is, memes aside, it's emotional, man. And it has every right to be this emotional. It is basically the equivalent of Shanks giving the straw hat to Luffy at the beginning of the story. That is literally what it is. And I love this. It's so sweet. It's so endearing. It's so emotional. And it makes me really, really look forward to seeing the future of Franky's VA. Seeing what he does with the role. But it does make me very sad to see Kazuki have to step down. I do think, though, in general, something to really be taken away from this entire segment, as much as it saddens me and it pains me about this whole ordeal, I do think that it comes from a level of commitment, honor, and love and passion for him to even be able to do this. I think one of the hardest things, as well, to accept in life is to know when to step down away from the spotlight because you can't do it no more. And I think that him willingly stepping down, because everything that has been presented so far, at least from what we know from the information to Kazuki giving up the role of Franky, it seems like he's done it willingly. He was not forced out of the position, nobody told him to, he just decided to because he felt he wasn't, he wasn't good enough anymore. And I think that shows how much he loves Franky, how much he loves One Piece, and he really wants to give it the best it possibly can. It's sad he couldn't journey to the end. Like, that's what makes me really sad, is that he was not able to make it to the end of the journey of One Piece's anime, to where, like, he could voice Franky's final line within the story. I think that is the one thing that pains me the most about the entire ordeal, is because we're not going to get to see that, or hear that. That's emotional, man. That really hits. But it also brings into perspective just how old One Piece is. That it's gotten to the point now, it's such an old anime with 2 decades now airing, and it potentially could go for 3+ decades, that there's going to come a period of time to where the VAs that are voicing even, let's say, Luffy, might not be able to voice those characters anymore if, like, the series continues to go too long. I'm not saying that Oda should wrap it up. I'm not saying that. He shouldn't. But it does put in perspective the passage of time, and that if the series does continue to go on even longer than it already has for another 2 decades, a lot of the VA cast might not be the same anymore, which is just scary to think about. That is actually terrifying to think about if that indeed happens. But yeah, I wanted to share this. I saw this in my feed a few days ago, and I have yet to talk about it because I've been a little bit busy, holiday season, as you know, but I wanted to talk about this because this made me very emotional, and, you know, it takes a very strong individual to do something like this, and I'm wishing him best in his retirement. I'm assuming he's retiring, but I also wish him, you know, the new voice actor, Kimura Subaru, very well with his new role. I hope he does a very good job. He has voiced quite a few characters over the years, as you could see, but I think that this one probably is going to be the career-defining role for him. Franky is a huge character. He is not a small character, especially in Japan. You can say you don't like One Piece or whatever as much as you want till you're blue in the face. Nobody can disregard the impact and how massive of a monolith One Piece is. So you gotta imagine getting a role like that is insane. It's actually insane. So, looking forward to it. We'll see where it goes in 2025. We'll finally get to hear the new lines and stuff when One Piece returns this upcoming April in 2025. Let's hope it's good. I'm willing to bet you it is, because as we know from Kazuki, what he stated is that he was literally mentoring this man. So, the fact that he was, like, mentoring him and apprenticing him, I think it's in good hands. But I love you guys. Be safe. Happy holidays. Chibi out.